I don't usually do this kind of video. I prefer to create my own content rather than to take content from other sources. But this article popped up on my Google newsfeed this morning, and it looks quite interesting, and it could have quite far-reaching consequences for a lot of people. So what it is, in essence, is that the Thai economy is not doing too well apart from tourism. So the government want to take measures to increase tourism even more to bring in more income. They're looking at bringing in 3 trillion baht by the end of 2024. Now, when I first started hearing articles about Thailand's poor economy, it quite surprised me. Obviously, the tourist industry is doing really well. It's doing very well where I live. Lots of Malaysian and Singaporean tourists. And whenever I go to a tourist resort, lots and lots of tourists. There's a big car assembly industry in Thailand. I thought that was doing okay. There's the Eastern Economic Corridor, which I thought was doing okay. I just thought things were doing okay. And when I started reading articles that the economy wasn't doing okay, it surprised me a bit. But there are reasons. With the rising cost of living in Thailand, wages are going up, so it's making exports less competitive. So there are reasons. And another thing is this demographic ticking time bomb that there's also been quite a few articles about. And if you go back 60 years or so, to the 60s, women of reproductive age in Thailand were having, on average, just over 6 children. My wife is one of 8 siblings. She was born in 1982, and it wasn't that unusual, even sort of 40 years ago, for Thais to have big families, 6 to 8. The figure now, and it varies depending on where you look, is sort of just over 1 to 1.5, and the replacement rate is 2.1. And some studies have shown that if this continues in about 50 or 60 years, Thailand's population will have halved from 66 million to 33 million. So there are lots of problems. Obviously, the government will be looking at ways to address those problems, but as a short-term measure, just to get some money into the economy, they're looking at ways that they can increase the money that comes in from tourism. And that's what these changes are all about. Let's take a look at some of the details. And Thailand wants to bring in no less than 3 trillion baht from tourism by the end of 2024. And the way to do that is to get more tourists, and the way to do that is to make it easier for people to visit. So the visa exemption is being expanded from 57 countries to 93, and visa on arrival from 19 to 31. And there's a new category of visa, the DTV, Destination Thailand visa, for people who want to come for a while and possibly want to work as well. And the obvious category is digital nomads. So there's now a visa for them, and it gives some details, but I've still got questions. There's still things I'm not sure about. It says the visa will allow us to stay up to 180 days. It costs 10,000 baht, and it's valid for 5 years. I'm not sure what that valid for 5 years means. Does it mean that once you've got the visa, you can use it any time within 5 years, or can you use it repeatedly for 5 years? I'm not quite sure. It can be extended by another 180 days for a fee of 10,000 baht. And they're also allowing spouses and legal children under 20 of those people with DTV visas. And there's a financial requirement, as there usually is with Thai visas. There's financial requirements for marriage and retirement visas. It's proof of financial support, which I guess will be a monthly income, or 500,000 baht, which I guess, based on marriage and retirement visas, will have to be held in a Thai bank. And the other thing is that visas don't give you the right to work. What gives you a right to work in Thailand is a work permit. So, I'm guessing that once you've got this visa, you'll then be able to get a work permit, which will allow you to work. And so you always need a work permit to work, and you can only have a work permit with certain types of visa. Specifically, you can't get a work permit with a retirement visa. If you're a genuine student in Thailand studying a bachelor's degree or higher, you can now get a 1-year extension of stay after you graduate for research or for job hunting, which is good. If you're not a genuine student but you plan on getting a long stay visa through the education process by claiming that you're learning Thai when you never go to language school, the authorities will still be clamping down on that, as they've been doing for a long time. Under medium-term measures, there's a few interesting points. They're restructuring and reducing the number of non-immigrant visa categories. Now, most people on long-term visas will have a non-B if they're doing business or working, or a non-O if they're retired or married. There are actually other kinds of visa. There's several here, but these are quite rare. There's no detail here about how they're going to restructure and reduce. And the second point is the one that's probably going to get people most worried. They're adjusting the criteria and conditions for the long stay visa for elderly people who wish to spend their retirement in Thailand. And there are a lot of expats on retirement visas. This starts in September 24, and again there are no details. I guess they'll be coming out soon. And this has been quite a worrying year for many people. At the start of the year, a tax loophole was removed. The tax law hasn't actually changed. It's been that way for a long time. But the loophole was that you didn't have to pay tax on money that was brought into Thailand that was earned in a previous year. They've taken that out, so any money now will be subject to tax, and no one knows yet how that's going to pan out. So that's worrying for a lot of people. And now there's this additional business of the criteria and conditions being adjusted for retirement visas. So who knows what's going to happen. Next, they're reducing the health insurance requirement, which is only sensible. It was 3 million baht during COVID, which is really excessive. Now it's 400,000 for IPD and 40,000 for OPD. The only thing I would say there is that I stopped getting OPD because it just wasn't worthwhile. The premium was costing me quite a lot, and I use OPD so rarely it just wasn't worth having. But this is on certain non-immigrant visas, OA, there's going to be a requirement to have 40,000 baht OPD, and people are going to have to get that, and I don't think they're going to get their money's worth. And they're expanding these e-visa services from 47 to 94 embassies. Okay. They're developing an electronic travel authorization, which only makes sense with so many things being done online now. So, be able to do more stuff electronically. And they're using technology and innovation to enhance the screening of foreign nationals, which only makes sense. Many years ago, it was well known that a lot of British criminals used to they would head off to southern Spain, and at some stage they started going to Thailand instead. So it's only good that the Thais will be doing more screening on foreign nationals. There's also been a lot of problems in the last 6 months or a year with foreigners in Thailand. So obviously, Thailand will want to make sure that they're not letting bad people stay in the country. Well, that's a quick overview. I'll give a link to this report below, and let me know if you've got any comments.